Welcome back to another episode of The Final Cut. Big favourite for me, this week. We've got a special guest in SE1. We've got the current president of the Fellowship for British Hairdressing, 2 times winner of British Hairdresser of the Year, the one and only Mr. Rob Eaton.
Hi, Simon.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Hi, Barry.
You good, yeah?
Yeah, good, thank you. Yeah, thank you for having me involved in this today. It's going to be great chatting to you.
Well, we've been waiting to get you on. We thought we'd get season 1 out of the way and we'll get you in and see how it's all gone. And it's all going to be about your presidencyship.
Right, okay.
Did I say that right then, David?
Presidency.
Ship.
Maybe he was on a ship.
I didn't say I think he's being really good. I didn't say being good. Delve into some questions and here we go. On we go. I noticed you've got your chain with you.
Yes.
But you're not wearing it. But I know you've kept that nice and warm for me. And we're going to talk about what you think my presidency will be when I take over. Here we go. The campaign starts here. You do start campaigning because we've got Ashley coming up in a later series of the new president when she takes over from Rob.
Yes.
And then it's open season after that, isn't it? So the word on everybody's lips for Final Cut is Simon for president.
Listen, I'm a champion of anything northern and especially anything from Barnsley, so yeah, you'll get my vote straight away.
There's a solid vote, you see, Barry. You cannot... what the president says, the president gets. And I think if it's one of his leaving legacies behind, then I think that's where we should go. Rob, growing up in Barnsley, our hometown, which is, brilliant place to grow up, but different.
Yeah.
Coming down to London, like we did.
Yeah.
And then going to fellowship events, and you will have seen past presidents.
Mm-hmm.
When you took over as president, did it match up to everything that you thought it would do? All them years you've watched different people be presidents, did it match up to what you thought it would be?
In some ways, yeah, and then other ways, it's been fascinating actually for me because I've seen a totally different side of the industry. I've learned a lot from the different people I've worked with. So, I've been on the board, working with Barry, and it's been brilliant to really get to know people on a different level. I think that's been the biggest thing. And I was always really proud to, first of all, become vice president under Ken, and then to take on the presidency. And I've been really proud to have been able to do that and to put my stamp on what the fellowship history is about, really. And I've got massive respect for heritage. I mean, my family background and the fact we've been in the industry for a long time. So growing up around the hairdressing industry it's been a massive thing for me.
We're going to touch on the family side of it because we've had a few people over this last month or so talking about families working together. We had James Galvin on a few weeks ago, and James was talking about working in the Galvin family and you working in the Eaton family. It's a big dynasty, especially in the north, but you've made it kind of like UK-based. We're winning British Hairdresser of the Year twice. Mm-hmm. Quick question coming off. It's not even written down, this one. Was it better getting the chain as president of the fellowship or winning British Hairdresser of the Year first time?
Oh, that's quite a big one, actually. I think both really great in different ways. For me, the responsibility of the presidency, because we're talking about fellowship here as well, it's meant a lot to me, actually. It's meant a lot to be able to give back a bit to the industry. Of course, the awards, it's great. It boosts the salon, it boosts me personally, but I think probably from being able to give back and do something with it, I think the fellowship chain and the presidency has been really, really special.
But Barry, you can stop looking at me now. No, it's been an experience for us both.
Yeah,
I mean, it's been a big learning curve, and Rob was the steady hand that we needed. Certainly after COVID and all the disruption, he's been the steady hand on the tiller that's kept us, focused on what we should have been doing the last 2 years. So I've thoroughly enjoyed my time with him.
Well, I think it's changed him a little bit, if I'm honest with you. Because we all stayed down last night, didn't we?
Yes.
Stayed at the same hotel.
Yeah.
Well, at 10 to 7 this morning, I go knock on my door for Rob, and he said, Simon, because I think he has gone a bit weird. He says, will you come and watch me have a shower?
Yeah.
And I said, Rob, it's 10 to 7 in the morning. He went, honestly, I'll give you a Twix if you come and watch me shower. And I think he did the same with you as well.
Yeah, vaguely remember someone knocking on.
Proper weird, isn't it?
It was very strange to got that phone call.
Cheers, Rob.
I was still asleep.
I was trying to think where they're going to go with that then.
We're nice and clean with it. I've took a bite of Twix now. Rob, low point of the presidency, and I'm going to start off on that, not as a negative. I just want to, in any kind of term like that, and it's such responsibility, it's not all glam, social media, look at me, I'm having a fab time, I'm on a train, I'm doing Hair and Vision nights. Over the 2 or 3 years, and I know you've been at fellowship for years and you've done your Vice stuff, you've done all loads of different stuff for the fellowship. In the last 2 years, what's been the toughest time in the period?
I think for me, it's probably realising that you can't please or be everything to everybody as well. As much as we tried our best to do as much as we can for the industry as a whole, that was the bit I found hard. Because generally, I do care a lot about the industry and a lot of the people that work in it and everything that it represents. And I think for me, I think we've done a good job of trying to tick a lot of boxes and do lots of things. But I think that was something that was quite a difficult thing. I mean, there's a lot of work that goes into it. The travel, as you know, we travelled literally all over the country, and it's you'd think that was quite a difficult part of it. Actually, I quite enjoyed being on the train a bit, and having some time just thinking about different things and doing work and stuff. But yeah, I think that was the hardest part, just making sure we fulfilled everything we wanted to achieve, but knowing that actually there's so much more we could do as well. And actually 2 years felt like a long time, but it's gone like that. And and actually there's so much more we could do. And actually I feel the last 6 months or so I've really got into my stride with it. And then it's kind of coming to an end as well, which has been that's been interesting as well.
I'd take that as a good sign.
I've seen a photograph of him this morning though on a train with the chain on.
Yes.
Right.
So
I've started wearing it a bit more,
Well, I asked him.
I wanted a free drink on the train.
First class upgrade.
I kind of like, as I've said before, I like to wear it around Barnsley and stuff.
Yeah.
At Slimming Club.
He has been known to sneak into the salon and take it.
So, yeah. So, going through it's been tough in terms of a little bit more work in terms of graph, what people don't see behind the scenes of travelling, comparing Hair and Vision evenings. I think he's been to everyone, hasn't he?
He did with me last year.
I think the thing with a role such as president, I wanted to throw myself into it and do everything I possibly could. And I think when you're doing that alongside, in my case, we're in salons and got a team working with the brands I work with as well. You're spinning a lot of plates and doing a lot of different things. And I think that was the bit that probably took a bit of getting into. And then I've sort of got used to managing all of that as well, and hopefully delivering what I can on every level as well. So I think for me as well, being based in the north as well, it was always really important to take the fellowship out of London, out of the southeast, and get out across the country. And I feel that was like the number one objective I had right from the start. And I chatted with Barry with that right at the very beginning, didn't I? And we sort of said, look, this is what I want to try and do. And I feel quite proud and strong that we've done that as best we possibly could within the time that we've had as well.
Yeah, definitely. I nearly bought an apartment in Leeds. Rob, definitely.
You've been up north more than ever, I think, haven't you, recently? So,
but never saw my family. So,
When. And I think that's one of the things as well. It's like it's juggling all the professional stuff you're doing, the work stuff we're doing, the salons, having a young family as well, and all those sort of things. Which is that's been the bits that have been more challenging.
We're going to come on to the family business and the new shop up in Leeds, which is amazing, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
The best space I've seen for a long time. But what's the high point of the last 2 years? What would you say the real moment where you think, I could relive that again 3 or 4 times?
Yeah, there's been a few. I think the luncheon this year was really special. I like you.
Thank you.
You were all part of that, and being on stage with you, Simon, and working with you, Barry, on that. And I think Trevor getting his Lifetime Achievement Award, that was really, really special. And I think actually looking at the audience and seeing how the audience had changed as well. So those amazing people, amazing sort of legacy names in the audience, but then loads of younger people that we managed to really hopefully inspire to attend events such as the lunch. And so I was really proud at that point. And I think also the Hair and Vision tour as well. I think just getting out there and seeing people, that was a really proud moment. And there's a point where I thought, well, we really have been all over the place. We've done so much great work here as well. And I felt really, really sort of proud and happy with that as well.
And now we're in the winter of your term.
Yes.
In terms of time-wise.
Yeah.
Looking back at your career, as president, but also as well, before we start to talk about you personally and the business up in Leeds, is if you had to look back in history in 30 years' time, and each president had a paragraph at the side of them, how would you like to sum your legacy that you've left behind as president? What was, like a paragraph of what you've left behind?
I think for me, I want it to be known as a period of change, really, when I was looking to follow on from some of the things that Ken started to change, and then it's very much about bringing forward this next generation of hairdressers and younger people into the fellowship, and really providing these opportunities for people to be part of what is a brilliant organisation, and to be a part of modernising it as well. And we've still got further to go with that, and we've got some brilliant ideas. I'm talking it's in a way I'm quite sad not to still be,
It's still we. You're not gone yet.
Yeah. But it's that's the bit I'm happy with. I know Barry talked about the stabilising aspect of it, and that's nice to feel like I've been part of that as well. But I just feel like it's been a bit of a turning point in the fellowship as well. We've gone from perhaps having this reputation of being a bit older and a certain type of person in the fellowship, whereas now it's just really open. It's for everybody. And
it is.
That's what's so exciting about where it's going to go in the future, because Ashley will do a brilliant job, and the rest of the board will do a brilliant job, and Barry will continue to do great stuff as well with it. And I think it's just exciting to see where it can go now.
You can see that from the outside looking in.
Yeah,
you can see the evolution in the last several years, and you can see that the changes that have been implemented. You mentioned about even just it not being so London centric.
Yeah,
that's massive. My accent gives it away how important that is to me. I think that's very, very clear, and I love the fact that you referenced the luncheon.
Yeah,
because even just in 1 year, not that the year before wasn't up to scratch, but when you set the bar high, you've got to keep trying to beat it and beat it, beat it. And there was a real sense in that room, a real genuine bond.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, Lifetime Achievement Award for Trevor Sorbo was an incredible moment in the room, a moment in time, legit moment in time that people will remember for a long, long time. But there was certainly a mood in the camp. There was a vibe, if you like. I don't like that term, but there was a vibe.
Yeah.
And you could really latch onto it. And even in between the awards, before or after everybody was sat down, the networking was off the charts. Everybody was so empowered. Everybody was so enthused by it. So I hope you take a lot from that, because that's a big part of what you've delivered.
Absolutely.
I think the luncheon's always been like a standout event in the industry. It's the last one of the year. Everybody loves it. It's always been in a spectacular location, wherever that's been. And it's always a way of celebrating what's happened throughout the year. And I think that's always what's so special about the luncheon. But to see a lot of younger people or new members or new people to the fellowship enjoying that and being part of it, I think is really important, because they are the future of where this goes as well. So, nothing ever stands still forever. It's got to keep evolving. It's got to keep changing. I recognise that as being part of our own family business. It always has to keep evolving and changing. And the fellowship is definitely doing that at the moment. And it's exciting to see that.
I think one thing is all of us around here, you were pretty new when Rob came in. You did 2 or 3 years into the term as CEO. I came into the fellowship 3 years ago in a lot more active role. Yeah. Having David and Andrew and the Evo House coming in and getting involved. And so we've all been part of your journey these last years. I look at it back and think the amount of differences now within the fellowship. We've got centres of excellence. We do finishing schools. The Air and Vision evenings have been packed out. We've got more members.
Rob gave the focus there.
More members than we've ever had. So your time as president is going to be an hard act to follow.
Well, I mean, the thing is as well, obviously it's been under my presidency, but we have been I think a really strong team that's worked together. And if I think about the last couple of years, I mean, the board being created, that was a new thing for the fellowship, and like any team of people working together, that took a few weeks, months to settle in, and for us all to get to know each other and to know our strengths and who was going to deliver what. And I think when we got through that period and we got the team just right, it's enabled us to really deliver on a lot of different things now. And I think the next stage is fine-tuning all these things and perfecting them. And I really hope that the legacy of Hair and Visions and the spreading the word across the country continues, because I feel that's a really, really important part of it. And as a young hairdresser from Barnsley, I know you mentioned this as well, Simon, I remember going to watch my icons in the industry when I was younger, thinking, wow, I want to be like them.
Yeah,
I want to do that. And I think the fellowship's got that, and it's got it in a really authentic way as well. It's not a brand that set this up. It's hairdressers for hairdressers that are creating this.
That's important.
Creating this opportunity for people as well.
I think that's really important. So it is a strong legacy that you've left behind, Rob.
100%. You can tell that. And in that period of time during your presidency, the momentum that's been sort of gained, the momentum that's built, the evolution of the fellowship in itself.
Yeah.
Every single facet of it that we've just discussed. Are you mentally prepared to not be the president? do you see? Do you know? Do you see a void that's about to hit you, and you're like, "What?" I
keep thinking about that. What the hell am I going to do with my time when this is finished? I'm going to have a life again and be able to do things that are nothing to do with hairdressing. I mean, in some ways, I will really miss it. I've spoken to you, Barry, about this. I think I'll want to join the weekly meetings and be part of it.
Yes.
But then at the same time, though, I do strongly believe that 2-3 years or however long people are in it, things have got to keep changing as well. So as much as I've put everything I can into it this last couple of years, I know Ashley will bring something totally different again, and whoever takes on the presidency, whether it's Team Simon or whoever afterwards, will also take it in a different direction, and that's absolutely what should happen with it as well. I don't think somebody should hold on to that position for too long. It's absolutely right that it keeps changing, and also the new president has time to adjust into that role and take it in the direction that they want to take as well.
I think for so many years, though, when the president's done the term, they kind of like drop off a little bit as well. And I think it's important for you to be...
That was something...
Barry's already talked about a role for me.
We've already discussed this, and it's just about keeping those key people in who've made such a difference and who command respect. Well, I mean, I first saw Rob in action, I think, after 3 years of working with him. I'd never seen him pick a pair of scissors up. It was always business related. But when I actually saw him in action on stage, talking, cutting, fending off questions, I don't know whether he's hopping on one foot at the same time as well, but it was just like, I was then going, wow, okay. That's when you actually get to see the full person.
I mean, I'm just looking at the latest issue of Salon Owner, there, the magazine. You look at Trevor on the front cover, Angelo, Sally Brooks, Antoinette. The fellowship's such a unique organisation that you've got all these fantastic talents that come together. And I just think that our job, your job as leader, but president and new presidents coming in, is to kind of keep nurturing
absolutely
people coming through and.
Yeah, I think that it's like, on one hand, respecting the heritage, respecting all the legacy and all the stuff that people have given people like myself over the years, and at the same time, it's thinking, well, how do we then move this on to the next generation? And that is really important. How does it stay relevant? We've got to continually keep evolving and changing the perception of what the fellowship is, and making sure we're delivering all these messages in a way that's relevant to younger hairdressers and people coming into the industry, and actually not just people that are in the industry, people looking onto the industry from outside as well. So parents at school, for school leavers, people that want to look at hairdressing as a career choice as well, that maybe don't know much about it. The fellowship needs to be the place that everybody comes to look and know that actually that represents what the industry is about. It's where all the future talent is, where everybody there's going to be big in the industry. And you only have to look at the Fame team, for example. That the Fame team has created industry leaders across the globe. People have gone on to such amazing roles after being part of the Fame team, and I think that's such a special thing that the fellowship's created. The fellowship community is about that, so it's important. It's kind of protected and does really, really well. And I think we're really lucky with everybody that sponsors it and everybody that supports it, that actually they see the relevance of that as well, that it's not just the association with it, but they are doing something to future-proof the industry and to create something.
It's a giving back.
Around. Yeah, definitely. It is. I'm going to ask you one more fellowship question.
Yeah.
And then we're going to move on to Russell Eaton's.
Right.
Don't sit on fence with this one. Who is your all-time favourite president?
Oh, that is a difficult one. Well, I think everybody's delivered different things, haven't they? I'm not sitting on the fence. But because Bruno was brilliant. He was funny. Ken was brilliant as well. Beverly C, I remember watching. I remember people from certainly the time when I've watched people being fantastic, and Kareen. So you can ask. I am sitting on the fence here, but they've all done different things in their own way, and I think that's what's been so special about it. Errol's incredible at what he's done. In fact, Errol will be upset if I don't say Errol, so maybe I need to say Errol. So.
All right, we'll take that one. Now, moving on, obviously you've still got a few months left in term, and I know you've got Aircon coming up as well in June, which everybody's looking forward to. You've just opened a massive new shop in January. It's still in Leeds.
Yeah.
And you moved more into town on Albion Street. Tell us a little bit about that, what that salon was before, and the kind of concept behind the idea. You've had a change of brands as well.
Yeah.
So just give us a bit of
So basically, we've been in Leeds 15 years now, and then but the brand as a whole has been in Yorkshire. So we started in Barnsley 46 years ago. So our lease came to an end, and I knew it was coming to an end actually when taking on the fellowship presidency. So I kind of thought in the back of my mind, this could happen at some point whilst being president, and it did. So we've been searching for a new location for a while, and took over an existing site that used to be Vidal Sassoon in Leeds, and we've basically given it a full refit, and it's now our new home in Leeds. So we've got fantastic new salon space, and also incorporates sort of mini academy space upstairs as well. So it's been a really good move for us as well. Been a lot of work and a lot of stress behind the scenes, which Barry, you've heard a bit about. Whilst I've been, myself and Barry often have calls in the morning or evening. It tends to be quite late at night when I'm bringing them on the way home from work. And yeah, you've heard throughout the journey of this, the story of what's happened.
I felt the pain throughout the whole.
But you know what? Now it's actually quite nice to see it. We're really proud, obviously, what we're like with our family business. We're really proud of everything we've done. We've got a brilliant team. And it's just great that we've got this open now.
It is beautiful. I mean, the shop's fantastic.
Space.
Anybody who goes to Leeds, I encourage everybody, if you're in Leeds, go to Russell Eaton's in.
Yeah, everybody's welcome to come and have a look around if everybody's passing.
I've seen a few things on social media. I think Kay Binnersley had gone out
she did,
with her friends for a drink and ended up having some selfies.
That's what happens actually in Leeds as well. Obviously, it's quite a big sort of drinking culture. And I think Kay was out with her friends and had a few drinks, so she knocked on the window and came in and had a chat and I showed her around and stuff. So, but yeah, anybody's welcome whether we're in the Leeds.
We've had this on a few past series as well, where you work with family.
Yes.
How's that?
Tough at times. No, I mean, I've got so much respect for my family. I mean, particularly Dad is, incredible at what he's done in his own career and what he's done to support us as a family, and myself and my sister coming into it. He could have wanted to retire years ago, but he's chosen to stay in. He's 72 now, and he's really as passionate about the industry as he ever was. So yeah, we're lucky to work together. It doesn't mean to say we don't have our disagreements and clash at times.
Because there's lots of families that work out there in hairdressing business. We had them in the past series as well. We've had people that have to work together in families. Some works out, some don't. Yeah. I think you'll have your ups and downs with that, but it must be. It's like, who's in charge?
Oh well, I would like to say that's probably me now. No, actually, do you know what it really is? This is not sitting on the fence again. We all have our own roles, so Dad, he's got such amazing history and heritage and knowledge of the industry. So there's not much he's not seen, whether that's from his earlier days working at Andre Bernard through to Vidal Sassoon, starting his own business, all the different things that have happened through that time. I came into it about 25 years ago, my sister about 20 years ago. My mum obviously has been a support behind the scenes throughout the entire thing. So it's, we just all got our own roles. Mum tends to be more finance. Isabel's very much salon in Barnsley and helping run and manage that. I tend to be across both and the industry, and Dad's is kind of across the whole thing, I guess, really. And that kind of, that wisdom, I guess, and knowledge of what's happened as well. So yeah, that's kind of how it works for us. And then the team as well. I know it's without it sounding like a bit of a corny sort of thing to say, but the team have been with us for years. Like, we've got loads of team members that have been over 10 years, some way more than that, 15 years plus. So, it is a little family of people that work together as well.
But isn't that a sign that people have bought into what the family values are and bought into the vision? And if you can, I always think about that in any business. The level of staff turnover is a big giveaway as to like how that business is operating, and are people bought into the process? I've got to ask, it's top of my head, how do you separate the business element to the family element? Say there's a birthday or a celebration or, you know, an
Had a tough
impromptu
Saturday.
an impromptu get together or whatever it may be, like, how do you draw that boundary? Are you all good at it? Are some of you good at it and some of you
No, it's very difficult. It's very difficult. I don't know whether we ever get that right. We always talk about, we'll not talk about work, and then 10 minutes later we're talking about work.
Is there one culprit that always brings
Dad
work
tends to be the person, I would say, that probably is
for a Russell gameplay.
Do you know the reason I ask? The reason I ask is that in our business, my mother still is involved loosely when it comes to the financial side of it, invoicing, that kind of thing, and, you know, brings a real wealth of knowledge there, but also the mother of the business, if you like.
Yeah.
Keeps Andrew and I in check. She's the boss, you know, that.
Good luck with that.
Exactly. But we always have this thing at weekends. If I'm with my mum and my dad, just, I've been meaning to ask you, but I don't want to bring up work. And it's almost like, no, it's fine. What is it, or whatever? And there's a fine line, isn't there?
Yeah. And I think one of the successes of a family business is the fact that you do talk about it all the time, and you're always kind of sharing ideas about things that have happened and kind of fine-tuning what you do. But you do have to try and, we do our best to try and be quite strict as to having a cut-off point with it. Whether we're successful or not, I don't know whether that ever really happens, but I guess it's just our family. It's a way of life as much as it is.
So it's just norm. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's our normal, I guess, really. And don't get me wrong, we don't constantly talk about hairdressing all the time, but it's it's just always, I think if you've got your own business and you're running a business, there's always situations that happen. There's stuff happens every week in our salons.
There's very little switch off time.
No, so it's just the way it is. I mean, myself and Dad tend to always have a call in the morning, so that's to either discuss the day before or the day after. Then we go our separate ways. I'm in Leeds, he tends to be in Barnsley. We do our own thing, and then we'll probably chat at the end of the day as well, and then I'll fit Barry in somewhere in between that as well, from a fellowship perspective.
You know, it's funny, I've got a sense of panic because I said my mother's loosely involved in the financial element. I'm sorry, Mum, I know you're watching. You do everything, no, but I do think that's really, absolutely.
I think probably what changed it for us as well is myself and my sister having children as well. You know, that changes things as well, because that's obviously, they take over a big part of family life as well.
Was there ever an opportunity, even 1% opportunity, that you wouldn't end up in the business or that you wouldn't end up in this industry?
Well, when I first left school, I did think about, it was always something kind of creative or a bit arty, so I thought about something more design related. I did work experience doing that before making the final decision, although I did work on Saturdays from a very young age, and I did an MVQ at Leslie Francis in Barnsley when I was still at school. I went after school and did that, so I got a bit of a head start on my hairdressing career anyway. So I'd already fallen in love with it already by then, and I think working on Saturdays, hairdressing is an amazing industry to be part of. Like, there's such creative people. I loved every second of salon life. I loved the idea of earning some money at that time as well, and I just thought, well, let's just do it. So
how would you feel if your children did or didn't want to get into it? Like, how, like, what's your stance on
do you know what? I think I would obviously it'd be lovely to support them if that's what they wanted to do. I would want them to do it if they were passionate about it and really did want to do it, because I think in the industry, you have to really love hairdressing and to be part of it and to love it every single day. One of the things I have realised about, this is probably the fellowship that's helped me with this as well, is that your career can go in so many different directions. After your training in hairdressing, you could travel the world, you can do so much, and everything's just in your hands. Like your skills are in your hands and your creativity in your mind. So I feel like it's an incredible industry to be part of, but it's ever changing as well though. So like, my experience going into the industry was very different to Dad's, perhaps yours, Simon, and if my girls went into it as well, I'm sure it'd be a very different period then as well. So I think it's whatever they want to do, really. But it would be nice. I think I probably will reflect on what Dad did for me, and he did loads to support me when I think about it now. He really was there to sort of shape and guide me in different directions. Never push, actually. He was always just putting me in positions where I could meet people that were inspirational to me, and I could take out of that what I wanted. And I think that's quite an important thing.
That's
as well.
a skill.
I never really thought about that at the time, but actually,
when you have your own children, you go, actually,
so putting them in that place, but letting them think about it themselves and develop. their own sort of
I think
views
it'd be
on
nice
stuff.
though for the Eaton family to have the third generation of hairdressers coming through. You've got 2 girls, haven't you?
2 girls, yeah.
2 girls.
One's only 3, so there's
And
a fair few more years to go. Although having said that, I worked. Isabel's got a daughter, and then so she's actually 12, and then I've got an 8-year-old as well. So there's a bit of a gap, yeah. Although I was working at 11 on Saturdays, so maybe
not
not far off. Yeah,
not far off then.
I don't know whether they'd actually want to do that now at 11. I don't think they'd want to work now, but
don't know what the rules are on the law.
Well, if it's your own business, I think you've got a little bit more leverage.
This is it, isn't it? You're quite right. Was your dad tougher on you than your colleagues?
I would say so. Yeah. Well, I mean,
did other people pick up on it?
I think. Well, I think you could probably say and do things to family members that maybe you might not do. But I don't mean that in a negative way.
It's removing the HR department.
There's no, and there certainly wasn't probably HR in the same way when I first started. Very different now. But it's like I said before, I think he was always very good at making me think about different situations.
Sure.
Without necessarily always having to say to me, "Oh, do this or do that."
It's not done him any harm, has it?
Not at all. Not at all.
And I think that for me as well, one of the things I do get a lot from Dad, and he's got an amazing history and heritage in the industry, and some of the stories about where he's worked in the past. I love listening to all that sort of stuff because there's things you can draw on that for now.
Absolutely.
But he's always given me a big respect for the heritage of the industry as well, which I know we've talked a lot about whilst I've been president, but it's always been something that's been quite important to me to respect that aspect of whatever
it's so
given.
Deep and rich, isn't it? And
I mean, like that chain, for example, like, you mentioned different past presidents, the names on that chain is amazing. And although I've had a bit of a thing about wearing that, it's kind of got this kind of slightly old-fashioned vibe to it. What it represents, I actually really, really like. I think it's great. I know it's been popular in Barnsley at the gym and football ground and the treads.
You could dine out with that quite easily.
It does suit me.
I think it does suit you.
Try it on a bit. I'll try it on in a bit if you want me to. Give you a trailer. He's cracking out. I can feel him cringing and cracking out here.
Not at all.
The board will be throwing themselves through a window. It's my turn.
The fact that anybody wants to aspire to it, I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, do you know, actually, I do think that because I hope people look at what I've done and other presidents have done and think, well, that's a great thing to be part of.
I think the modernisation started to actually turn.
Yeah.
When you came into power, you've started to see
things aligned, didn't they?
Yeah, started to see things move, and like you say, lots more younger faces, people actually asking questions. We had the chat about the medals when Rob first started, and I'm saying to him, I'm not sure if these are outdated or how wrong was I? How wrong was I?
People want them, it's
absolutely. They like a bit of.
We get phone calls 11 o'clock at night. How do I get my hands on that bling? So it's, as a currency, it's absolutely fantastic. And as for the chain,
I do get people ask me if I'm the mayor of Barnsley, though. That does happen a lot. It's,
I mean, why
are you wearing that chain?
Definitely.
What's the worst that could happen? You get a free pint or something?
Yeah, I know.
Come on,
yeah. Just get that medal out. We'll take it with us tonight. See what we can get. Rob, moving on now, and obviously you've got the new salon.
Yeah.
You've moved brands. You're now with L'Oreal.
Yeah.
And it's all exciting stuff, and you've done really well. As people will look at you, and I think you're such a likable guy anyway. I think it's been easy for me to work on the board with you because we've sat together a lot of times next to each other. I think it's because nobody can understand me in particular when I get excited. My Yorkshire accent's really strong, and he gets it, and sometimes he'll translate for me to the other people. Like I look at Colin sometimes and Ashley, and they're like, "Huh."
My first gift to everybody when we started the book, I actually got a Yorkshire dialect book, didn't I? To pass everybody. But yeah, we have sat next to each other, haven't we? So.
But I think one of your talents that you probably don't even know is that as a president, sometimes you could take charge of meetings more and be more. But you've allowed people to grow, and seeing that these guys have got talent in different areas that I don't, and you've allowed them to grow, and with that, there's become a respect that I know. You're the president. But you've allowed me to grow within the board. Same with you, Barry. I think I actually, if I'm honest with you, and I've said it on this as well, I do speak to you far too much than what I should do. But I think that's been one of your biggest pluses that I look back as your presidencyship is that you've allowed individuals to grow within the board for the good of the fellowship.
Yeah. The thing is, the board has got some talented people on it, like some majorly talented people, and we've often said to get a group of people together like that.
What would it cost?
About $2 million a year.
Yeah, I mean, and actually, you know, for me, you've got to recognise you can't do everything, and there's all people there that all bring certain things to the board and to the fellowship. So,
what's next for you though? What's the next 5 years look like? Outside fellowship, family, business. Yeah,
I think.
What's the 5 years looking like?
So, first thing when I finish, I want to go on holiday for a couple of weeks, get a bit of a rest.
I think we'll allow that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where we're
So
going?
so I've got loads actually planned for the latter part of the year. So I'm really enjoying working with L'Oreal Professional Products Division at the moment. It's been a great move. I've just been told I'm doing the Colour Trophy show, which actually that's an exclusive for here. Nobody knows about that. So,
Congratulations.
So when this comes out, that'll be something that I'm excited to be working on, planning that at the moment. For me, developing the salons, and I'm just going to enjoy being part of the industry again, which I've still have been part of the industry, but get back into just the creative bits again and supporting our team, developing the brands, and just enjoy being in the industry. I think it has been a really, really busy time. And I think sometimes you can look back and think, oh God, you know, how that's just been a real whirlwind of opportunities and things that have happened.
We've got trains back at 10 o'clock at night, back into Yorkshire at midnight, going into work next day. It's not been easy, has it?
I knew when I normally get a train at about 11:30. That's the last one, and it gets me back into Doncaster sort of like 1:30 in the morning. And I knew when I knew all the names of the people on the train, and they were giving me bottles of wine and free drinks because they saw me on the train so much that I was doing a lot of travel up and down from Yorkshire to London and back again. So yeah, I think it's just gonna be nice just to take a bit of a breather, just enjoy your stuff again, watch what everybody else is doing, and still be part. I will always be here and part of it if needed and called on by Barry or Ashley or whoever or you. If you ever become president as well, it's kind of
the momentum's building by it.
Yeah,
it is. I could feel
but
it.
the main thing as well.
Can we get a banner built, lads? And people walk into the studios.
But yeah, I think it's just, and it's obviously getting a bit more balance, I think, back into life as well. I'm really lucky. I've got two amazing daughters, and I'm going to make sure I enjoy some more time with them as well.
Nice.
They're just enjoy everything.
I want to throw you a curveball. So you've won British Hairdressing twice. You got nominated again last year.
Yeah.
Tell me, you sat there in the Grosvenor.
Yeah.
And it gets to about 11:15, and they're just about to announce who's won the British Hairdresser of the Year. When you don't win it, how does it feel?
I just want a drink then. Yeah. No, it's, well, do you know what? At that point, because everybody knows each other quite well, and all the nominees get to know each other, we've worked on a show, so we've all been backstage together. You know, you're kind of like glad for that person as well, and we've got such a lot of respect for each other anyway. Of course, you always want to win something yourself. That's just the nature of entering a competition and being part of it. But you know, it just makes me. I just really appreciate being part of it. I think really that's the biggest thing for me, and I want to enjoy the night afterwards. But usually, to be honest with you, it gets to that point of the night, we're all knackered. We've been up really early doing the prep for the models, doing the rehearsals. It's a pretty long and intense day, actually. So
I'd be lucky enough as well to be sat right next to the family table when you've won them. So for
I always remember actually the first year I won. Actually,
yeah, I was sat right next to you, and you were the first person to come off stage to me. Well, like really good.
I actually always remember that because you picked me up and hugged me, and I always remember like my buttons popping on my shirts. Sure, I remember going up on stage thinking, "Oh my god, I'm going to make sure I look like smarter before getting on the
you know how that
stage."
feels, don't we? Buttons popping.
No, but it was. No, I mean, I always remember, and I think actually that first time I won it was brilliant because there was a lot of
special.
Like, it was like a really special memory for me to win that then, and a lot of people, I felt like quite a lot of. Sort of love in the room for the fact I'd won as somebody in the north and somebody that was perhaps new. I was the first year being nominated as well, so it was just like a really, really special moment. So,
and I think for people who don't, any viewers that don't know, before I went to work for Wall 24 years ago, I worked in a salon group in the north. They had multiple salons across Yorkshire, but I did all my work in Barnsley.
Yeah.
And obviously, Rob, you weren't not started at that point. I started in 85, 86.
Yeah, I was 6 then.
Oh, yeah, give me that chain. I want to pawn it.
It's all going so well, eh?
But what I want to suggest is to people is that sometimes when you got not rivals but opposition salons in, we've never had that. Our families have always worked together, and I think that made it easier for me when you were president and I were coming into it, because I wanted to work even harder to make sure that under your umbrella as presidency, there was loads of good stuff that we'd started and said we could look back and say, Rob, you were president when we started that. Rob, you were president when we started that. And I think
that will be that's one of the. I mean, Barnsley. Everybody knows I love Barnsley, and I know you love Barnsley as well. But there's like quite a special hairdressing community there. There's some
very much
really like talented and successful people that have come from Barnsley. And I don't know what it is about Barnsley as an area, but I'm really proud to be part of that group of people. And it's been so lovely to work with you.
You've got Andrew Barton, who's won British Hairdressing. Rob's won it twice. You've got Stephen Moody, who was international creative director for Sassoons, now for Weller. You've got Chris Moody, who does all his management stuff. You got Josh Wood, who's
and actually like another gentleman, like Pete Burkill, he's doing amazing.
Yeah, Pete doing fantastic.
Dom Seeley.
You've got the next, and myself obviously, and then you've got the next generation coming through, Jesse, and you've got lots of people coming through from Barnsley. Kyle, you've got lots of people coming from Barnsley. It's just this hotbed, and sometimes we don't know why until you go to Barnsley.
Yeah,
and it's just a fantastic night out. The place is looking the best it's ever looked into.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
you know. Yeah. And so I think we've been very lucky with his upbringing and his groundedness in Barnsley. Yeah. And, I obviously had to rough it a few weeks ago when I went down to Sandbanks.
Yeah.
I went to Paris. I think I got mistaken. I didn't know if it were your house or a small Premier Inn with posh pillars at the entrance door.
We still need to take Barry for a night out in Barnsley, though, don't we?
Yeah, to the tread.
We'll take you to tread. But I think Dave. No, we went out in Leeds, didn't we? We had a night out in Leeds, but I think he's right. He'd love Barnsley.
Is it anything like the Otley Run?
I think Barnsley's better than that.
I was meaning in terms of participants and fancy dress and all that.
Well, there's some fancy dress. Okay, it's not. They don't know it's fancy dress.
They
don't know it's fancy dress.
There's some big characters, definitely.
I think we'll have to organise that where you come up and
Sounds
do it.
good.
I think Leeds is a fantastic place. Otley Run's just a little bit out. It's
comes in the way, doesn't it?
Coming out of Headingley.
That could be the warm-up session to go into Barnsley, I would say.
That's a long run, and if you ever drive down that long road from Headingley, because I thought when I heard somebody said, I think it was my son saying, "No, we're going on this Otley Run. It's fancy dress, just a special event once a year." It's not. It's every single weekend.
Yes, it is. Yeah,
that people are going down in fancy dress because it's a big student area.
Yeah.
So when you go down Otley Road, it's like literally pub after pub after pub, and then everybody's in fancy dress every week.
You know, it's funny though. You're absolutely right. And I was on a stag 2 years ago for that. Good friend of mine had no idea what the hell this was. And just said fancy dress guys, or I think we're all dressed as doctors or something. After about 2 pubs, that had all gone. It was just normality, drink. And it's funny, sliding door moments in careers and in your life, right?
Mm-hmm.
Rangers were playing at 12 o'clock in the first pub we were on, and it was on Sky, and we just basically cleared out this whole area of the pub. And that way it was 1-1 until the 91st minute, and you're kind of thinking, see if we didn't score that winning goal. Probably wouldn't have done it. I would have been on the train up the road, But it was incredible. So sign me up. If Barnsley's anywhere near as good, if not better, I'm in.
We don't. It's not like a big run, but it's good. You'd enjoy it, and I think the town's had a massive multi-million-pound expenditure on it at the minute. So
do you let Johnny Forner from up north come in? Are you?
No. We're very We've got
very
a few Scottish people in there, and a few. Other
Sorry about that.
It's okay. We'll let you in. You might struggle, Barry, with being a Scousers.
There we go.
We get a bit
been around the houses.
We get a bit weird with that. Rob, as we're finishing off, obviously, any advice for Ashley, leaving her a message on here is she's going to be coming in. First female president for how many years?
It's
6 term for Kareem?
5.
Yeah.
For 5 years.
Yeah. Any advice?
I think just to enjoy it. I mean, it's like I've just found it's gone really fast. Of course, there's been highs and lows, and there's different things that happen, as there is in your own business or work life anyway. But just to enjoy it, because I know Ashley will. Ashley will be brilliant. She's going to have some amazing successes, and she's got strong opinions about lots of different areas of things she wants to bring to the fellowship. And I think she will do a brilliant job with it as well. But I can't believe how fast it's gone. Actually, it literally doesn't seem 2 minutes since we all met up.
It doesn't.
As part of that new board, and
Doesn't.
And I think about everything we've done.
Yeah, it was.
Just enjoying that process, and it definitely is it's an experience of a lifetime that I've had that I will always look back on. And I think it's been something that I think it's changed. It has changed me as a person from an understanding of the industry, but also just generally a confidence perspective about being able to.
Do you not feel as well like we're very privileged in terms that we learn off each other at that board level?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
You're welcome.
Can I ask him one final question? I think this is a cracker of a question for Simon.
He's got his book out. I'm getting nervous what this next bit is going to be.
I'm going to play devil's advocate. If it was like the US presidential elections and there was the ability to have a second term, right?
Yeah.
Yes or no? Would you take a second term if it was?
Yes, but not straight away. I want to
Good answer.
First.
Diplomatic till the end. I love it.
To the end.
Simon.
Right, we'll finish off with our existing president after a fantastic term at the Fellowship, Rob Eaton. Quick fire questions, Rob. Night in or nightclub out?
Or nightclub out.
I knew that was coming after the Barnsley chat.
Yeah.
Afternoon. Thank you very much. I'm very good fun, actually, by the way. I'm available for weddings, christens, bar mitzvahs. You name it, I'm ready. Afternoon drinking or night drinking?
Actually, I do prefer afternoon drinking now, even though I've just said about night out.
I know. I knew when you said that because I knew we'd spoke about that.
Yeah.
Dressing up or dressing down?
Dressing up.
Wine or lager?
Wine.
Chain or no chain?
Chain.
There you go. Our current president of the Fellowship, Mr. Rob Eaton.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.